Hello, hello. So, as I'm sure many of you know, this game has recently been released on PS Plus for free, which will inevitably result in quite a lot of new people coming in, and a lot of the current guides for this game will most likely be outdated. So this video is just going to be a way of helping new players understand the game, because it can be a bit confusing, and it's just something that, I think something like this could help. So, straight away, as soon as you come into the game, you greet with the screen, obviously click play. And you'll be greeted with this screen here once it loads. Okay, so you'll be greeted with the free game modes, this being the main one, Text Chainsaw Massacre. Rush Week is a separate game mode, and Museum mode is just a fun little way of just seeing some of the story behind the movie and a bit of the game, just to, show things off. Our main focus obviously will be the main game. So you're going to you'll be greeted with the screen here. A lot of people might instinctively just want to click play and just, family, victims, jump straight in. 100% you can do this, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend, first thing to do is go to the customization screen. Here you'll see all the characters in the game, family and victim, and you can see their stats and perks and all that stuff. Now, this video, I'm not going to be going over every single character. I can make a separate video on that, or I am going to link a YouTuber called WeezyF Mamba. I think he makes good tutorials, and he basically gives beginner guides to specific characters, showing off their best perk builds, and just in general, helps you figure out who you want to play as. I personally main Leland, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to play Connie, just because she's good at locking doors, and we'll get to all that. But when you first go into the game, you want to have a look for everybody, just to kind of figure out what your playstyle will be. We're going to go over victims first, we'll go over family as well. So, first thing to do is go over your skill tree. The skill tree is a bit daunting looking at first. I'm going to go so done. Bit confusing looking, but it's not really. When you play the game, you'll see at the top right, you gain level, and when you gain level, you'll get a currency. You'll see on the right, I have 3,009. You'll get this, and these are attribute points. You'll put these into this tree here, which you'll go along, and you'll gain perks for this. This tree is essentially a way of allowing you to not have unbalanced perk combinations, because, say for example, I choose to go right here, as I've done, I now lose access to these perks here. So I can only use builds that have kind of, been pre-made. But there is a lot of creativity and a lot of variety there. You also will gain these here, extra attribute points. You will then use these to increase your stats and help you kind of mold your own playstyle. You can use these to, focus on a character's strengths and weaknesses, or you can kind of make your character a bit more well-rounded. It's your choice, really. You'll also have your ability, but we'll get onto that and things. So I would recommend just going through, picking a character, and once you've selected a character, I would then come out of here and then click play. And then here is the private lobby. I'd recommend going into a private lobby and just getting your bearings, figuring out kind of what's going on, getting used to the controls and kind of understanding things. Because this game, it's a bit confusing, it's a bit daunting, but it's really fun, I promise. You just need to understand things. So, we're going to go into Family House, just for the sake of this video. There's a lot of maps you can see here. A lot of maps have night-day storm variations, but just for this video, just to kind of explain things for Victim, we're going to go into Family House.
Discovered the remains of more than a dozen animal corpses.
So,
the bodies
once
are
you load
reported as being in various states of mutilation.
You'll see this cutscenes, which explains the general gimmick of what you want to do. So, as a victim, you will spawn in the basement of the map, tied up, and you'll want to break out of your ropes. Now, the first thing you'll see is this bar here, and this is your... Well, essentially the bar on the left, you'll see as a little speaker. This is the noise bar, and the main bar, that is your progress bar. So, as you see, every click I make progress, but also the noise bar goes up. So if that makes noise, as you'll see, I'll make a noise notification, and the family members can see this through walls, and they can it helps them find you. So you can choose to play quietly and slowly and make no noise, or you know, be fast and aggressive and make noise and try and, you know, avoid things. Anyway, so you'll spawn in, and the first thing you want to do, at least as Connie, is grab an unlock tool. So the basement can seem a bit overwhelming and a bit, you know, you don't know what to do and things, but don't worry.
Please.
You want to look for these. These are toolboxes. Bright blue, really easy to see, they light up, not hard to find. And once you find one of these, you want to go into these, and you can choose to do it stealthy. I'm going to do it louder just for the sake of this, for speed. Now be careful, because if there is a Leatherface in the game, which is quite common, he will spawn in the basement with you. If there is no Leatherface, no one will be in the basement with you, so you'll be safe for the time being. If you make enough noise in the basement, I'll show you, it will wake Grandpa. As you see, the noise is awakening Grandpa. I'm going to go into more detail on Grandpa when we are on the family, but just so you're aware of that. So there is a bit of a risk to awakening Grandpa and things, but as I said, I'll get more detail on that. So once you've got an unlock tool, which is what you got from the toolbox, you'll come to one of these doors, also bright and blue, not hard to miss, and you'll go into your thing here. Now, unlike the mini games that we've already previously looked at, this is not a sound bar on the left. This is a brake bar. So if you reach max on this bar, your lockpick will break. So you do not want to spam it on this. This one you want to go slowly. So with your left stick, or whatever you're on PC, I assume it's the mouse, I believe. You can move your little lockpick around, and when you see it goes into the green area, you can then click square and do it. Now, depending on the stat of your victim's proficiency, it will be how much progress you make per click of this, along with other things. So, all store, every single segment you complete, it will change locations, and then you finish that, boom, door's unlocked. So, open the door, make sure everything's safe, don't just run up, you know, recklessly, you will die. Can't peer. Now, obviously it's different for every other map. Family House is a bit different to the usual stereotypical map, but it's still the same premise. So there's various doors in the house to unlock, so we'll open this door as well. I'll use my ability of Connie, that's Connie's ability, she can pop a lock immediately. And then you're out the house. Now every map in this game has 4 exits, essentially, par a couple and here or there. You have the generator and the battery, and then you have the fuse and the valve. Again, seems confusing, it's not. Here is the generator. This generator powers an electric gate over there. If you see that red light, that means the generator is on. And that door, there's an electric panel on the ground, and that will electrocute you. You won't be able to cross. You want to kick the generator off, and then once you kick the generator off, that will turn off the gate there, and you can run out and escape. Depending on the strength of your victim is how easily you can turn that generator off. If you've got high strength, you can knock the generator out really quickly. If you've got low strength, like Connie, it will take a while. So once you've done the generator, or if you choose not to do the generator and go to a different exit, there's also the battery. The battery is over this way. I'm going to cut here, not to waste anyone's time, but at the very back end of where I'm going is where the battery is, so I'll wait until we're there. Okay, so we are at the battery now. This is, there, I was just over there, I came over. So it's simple enough to understand. It's simply just a battery, like here, and there is a gate right here. Similar to the generator, is an electric grid that's kind of protecting this, is why the battery has to come off to do this. A yellow wire will come from the gate to the battery, and simply just go over, turn this off like this. Depending on your proficiency stats, how fast you can turn this off. If it's high, you can turn it off quick. If it's low, obviously it's longer, similar to the strength from the generator. And then just follow the yellow wire once you turn off the battery to the main gate, and then you pop it off with your lockpick. You also need a lockpick, of course, and yeah, simple enough to explain. And yeah. Another thing to make sure you're aware of with this is while you're outside, there's many locations around the map of wells. Here's an example of that, the well. So we will take this well, and we'll fall. We'll take a slight amount of damage. Go out from the camera there, and you'll return to the basement. The basement, despite it being a bit scary, not scary, but a bit, you know, intimidating, a bit creepy, this is the victim's kind of safe haven. It's the spot where you can retreat to and kind of get your bearings and kind of escape the family. So don't be afraid of the basement after the very beginning phase of the game. That's kind of, you know, Family obviously can come down here, but there's tons of crawl spaces and stuff you can go through.
Sweetie, no.
Tons of ways of getting away from them and everything, so it's not something to be scared of. Wells are just a way of basically being able to get to an area, but if things go wrong, you can just kind of save yourself. So now I'm going to show you the internal exits, which would be valve and fuse. These exits are a bit more unique. They're not just unlocking something and then turning something off. There's a bit more to them than this. Again, not confusing, but still worth explaining and mentioning because you know what to look out for. So the valve and the fuse can spawn every single map. They have 3 locations that will rotate randomly. So family house, there is one that can spawn here. You'll see like a wooden panel of a box. This right here, this means that the fuse can spawn here, but it just hasn't. So hopefully I can find it. Hopefully it's in the next one, I'll check. Another location for it is in here, as you see, wooden panel, box, but it's not here. And lastly, the final spot, of course it's the one that I checked last, through here, and right here. This is the fuse box. As you can see. So, to complete the fuse, you will need an unlock tool, like this, to open the box up. Now, once the box is open, you'll see this. Now, you'll see it says requires fuse, so we're going to go try and get the fuse real quick. The fuse, once again, similar to the valve and the fuse itself, it can spawn in a rotation of many options. There's multiple fuses on the map, right here. So this is a fuse. Blue lights up. Just take that. So you want to come back to the thing. Hopefully, ideally, I'd recommend grabbing the fuse and an unlock tool just in one go. That way you can do everything in one shot. But the family have traps and ways of defending this, so watch out for that. Again, it's that when we go to family. So once you've got the fuse, you want to come to the box, you've opened it, you want to click that, put it in, and then go to repair. So this screen here, this is the minigame. It is essentially just where you figure out, so you put the color of what you're doing here. So you'll see there's a number in the middle, amps, and it's for the top one it says 13. We all see it's a green and a blue. So I need to find a color that's green and a color that's blue. They both add up to that number. You should see it goes green. So I've done that correctly. Same one for this. So I need to add up 3. So yellow 2 and a pink 1. Once I've done that, I'll turn the fuse and it'll say basement exit open and I'll mark it down there. That is an exit. So back in the basement, you will have to run down as fast as you can. Hopefully avoid the family members. And once you've done that, you can get out for that exit. The family members can can relock the fuse after a certain amount of time, and there is a character that can also immediately reshut the fuse. So it can be dangerous, it can be risky, but here's the exit here. If I ran out for there, I would escape, and that would be it. So next exit I'm going to show you is the valve. I will make a cut when I'm a bit closer to it, just to save time. So the valve wheel is here, similar to the fuse, you have to find it. It's not as bright and as obvious as the fuse is, but it's still easy to find. This room is a bit dark, so it's a bit tough to see, but it's usually a bit brighter and easier to see than this. But yeah, so just want to take the wheel, as such, and take it to the valve tank. Similar to the fuse, the valve can spawn in 3 locations that will randomly rotate. I'm going to hope it's nice. Yep, it's down there. For speed's sake, I'm going to jump out this window by sprinting. I would recommend doing this often, unless you're in a very tough spot, because as you see, it is painful. I will come to this valve, and here's the valve tank. This is the exit for that. And I'm going to get some kills. I just don't want to bleed out. 1 second. Okay, much better. So as I was saying, the valve tank. This is the final exit. And you just simply put the wheel on like this. There might be a trap on it, some of the family defending it. It's not super likely. People don't usually defend the valve because it's probably the worst exit out of all of them. But anyway, so once the valve wheel is on the tank, you will see a little pressure thing at the top, a little like gauge. This is the progress on the valve and the pressure it's currently holding. So as you see currently, it's 0, it's flat, there's nothing. So you will, same as anything else, you'll have a noise. I would recommend not whining out the noise and just spamming it like this, because as you hear, it's very loud and the family will hear that, so it doesn't really matter. This is the aggressive exit. There is no, doing this stealthily. You will engage in the family if you do this exit, most likely, as long as they know what they're doing. And you'll see the gauge is slowly going up. Once this gauge reaches the max and it goes into the green area, the pressure valve door will unlock and open, and that is an exit you can run out of. The family can come along and turn this valve off. Once it's on, once it's done, they cannot, unless there is a specific character, which I'll get into. But they can come while it's like this, while it's making progress, they can come over and they can crank it off, same as we did, and turn it off. Once it's off, the victims, it will slowly begin to go down again, a bit slower than it goes up, and the victims have to turn it back on. It's a bit of a battle back and forth. Obviously I have no one else with me, so this will be by myself, and no one will stop me. So it's rare to get it off in one go like that, because it is quite slow, as you see. And then once you've done that, it will get highlighted. You see the little yellow highlight of the doors opening. You just simply want to run out. There's Grandpa. You will get that. And simply get out, and you'll see the big door. It's got big lights on it right there. That is the pressure exit. Once the exit is on, it will slowly lose pressure and go down. You'll see the gauge right here on the left also shows the progress right there. It's halfway. Once that reaches red and hits the bottom, the gates will shut and you'll have to redo the valve. And yeah, so let me escape here, because every exit is shown on this map. Most exits, all the exits I've shown are the same exits on basically every map, apart from Graveyard. Graveyard is the most recent map out of the game at this point, and is the first map that has a unique exit to that map specifically. Every other map in the game has battery, generator, fuse, and valve. How you get to those exits might be a bit different, but generally it's the same premise. So that is the more, that's the exits explained for Victim. Now the last one I'm going to go over for Victim is the more offensive, aggressive playstyle, and kind of how you can fight the family in more of a aggressive way, because a lot of people who play these games like to be a bit more confrontational, a bit more aggressive. Like myself, that's what I love to do. That's why I like to play Leland. Leland is the fighter character. He's the one that's going to be more aggressive. He's not going to be unlocking the doors or doing the exits. He's going to be distracting the family and causing chaos, So I'm going to go in and show you kind of what to do if that's the role you want to play. It's going to be a lot shorter in terms of how long it takes to explain than the other stuff, because there's no exits to explain. It's simply just to show you kind of how the mechanics work of fighting and defending yourself and all that stuff. Now, these characters any character can fight the family. I'll show you how. However, certain characters are better at it than others. Leaning into the strength stat, that essentially shows your ability with grappling. And grappling is a mechanic that allows the victims to fight the family and defend themselves and stun them. So Connie, who I was just playing last game, has 15 strength, whereas Leland has 40. Now, of course, as I referred to earlier, you can change your stats and things and put your points in to make something better, but I would recommend making Connie have high strength, because that's just a waste of points. So, similar to the unlock tools, you will find little bone piles on the ground. Right here, there is one, right here. A bit harder to see, you'll see retrieve bone scrap. So exactly the same as the unlock tool. You can do it quietly or loudly. We're going to do it loudly because we don't care. Especially playing a fighter character, you're not going to care about being a bit distracting. Come through here. Now, this is this is the bone knives. This is the way of attacking and fighting the family. When I don't have a family member with me, so I can't really show this hands-on, but basically I'll explain it to you perfectly so you understand. Say a person is in front of me, I can run up to them and I will see the prompt of, if I'm in front of them, it will be R2 to grapple. I'll click R2 and I will be engaging with the family member, we'll be grabbing onto each other, and both players will have to spam X on PlayStation. I don't know what it would be on Xbox. It would be the lowest button on the controller. I'm not sure what it would be in PC. I'm also not sure, so I apologize for that. But you'll see that. You want to spam it as fast as you can. There is a button input limitation because there was obviously a lot of auto-clicking cheaters, so it was very unfair. You're losing like 2 seconds. It wasn't great. So they've reduced it so you can only get a certain amount of clicks per second. So don't think, oh, I'm clicking really slowly. It's just simply the game stopping you from being able to, stopping you from cheating. Once you've done that, hopefully the victims will win. The victims usually will win unless they are low health. The lower your health bar, you'll see the green bar on my thing. That's my health, obviously. The white bars, I'm sure you've noticed, is my stamina. The 3 little circles is my perks, and the R1 at the bottom right is my ability. The little heart pumping, you're probably wondering what that is. That is my condition. The condition is essentially how fast I am bleeding, because you'll see my health bar has lost a tiny sliver, and my heart has lost a little bit of sliver. That is my condition. My condition's gotten worse. So the lower your heart goes, the faster you kind of lose health and deteriorate. Because these victims, they're injured, they're wounded, they're not in peak condition, as you can see, he's holding his waist. So they do lose health slowly and things. But don't worry, it's not like you're a ticking time bomb. You'll see I've lost this much health. I won't lose much more. It goes really slowly. But when you get hit, your condition goes down and your health goes down. So the more you get hit, the more you heal. All of that, it'll take more and more and more. How you heal is these health bottles. You'll see them, they're usually on little blue cases like that. The case will shut when you've taken it. You'll just see the little prompt above it, according to your console. Hold it, and then pop. I've obviously lost no health, so I won't lose that. I also have a perk that gives me more health when I heal. But perks are not something I'm going to go over. You'll be able to look at them all yourself and figure out what you like. Anyway, went a bit of side tangent there with the grappling, just needed to explain that. So if the family member I am behind them, I won't be able to grapple them, I will backstab them, or sneak attack is the official name for it. Sneak attacking is where you completely skip the grapple process. You don't have to spam X or anything, you just run up behind them and then just go right in their back and they get stunned and you can run. So that is a safer way of kind of, if you're not a strong character, you can be more sneaky and kind of try and get them from behind. Just be careful, because a family member could be running and then you try and back them and they turn around and then you get forced into a grapple instead and you could end up dying for that. So just be careful. Don't go crazy with it and just be clever. While you are grappling a family member, another family member can come along and hit you and just keep smacking you over and over again and just kill you. It's quite risky, so don't just run in there and grapple one of the family members and the other 2 will just jump on you and kill you. It's not smart to do that at all. Be more tactical, try and isolate them, and just kind of be a pain in the arse. That's kind of what you want to do. And yes, I believe that is everything explained for bone shards. You can stab Grandpa with a bone knife as well. And you can also disarm traps with bone knives. So bone knives are quite helpful, but there's perks and things that allow you to disarm traps and stuff without a bone knife and yada yada yada. But yeah, bone knives are used for disarming and stabbing. So
what the hell is wrong?
Let's move on to the family. Okay, so next topic is family. Family is obviously the killer. That is the role that you'll take as family. There's once again a variety of family members to play. Some of them are behind paywalls. These 3 at the bottom are behind paywalls. The victims, these 4 are behind paywalls. Don't worry about that. There's a couple of characters in this game who are unfortunately quite strong that are behind paywalls. This is a complaint that's quite common. I'm not gonna, lie and say it's fine. But the default characters are also very good. There's not, you're not like at a crazy disadvantage for not having these DLC characters. You can 100% do well. I mean, my 2 mains are default characters. I don't play these DLC ones. So I play them, but I don't, So you can have fun regardless. So don't worry about that. If you enjoy the game, I'd recommend maybe buying, for Victim, Danny and Wyatt. They're both pretty good. Maria, don't get Maria. She's not good. I would not recommend buying Maria. She's not very strong. And for family, I'd recommend Hans. These Bones and Nancy are not very good, but Hans is very strong. But don't worry about that. Just focus on enjoying the game for what it is. And just if you do enjoy the game and you are tempted to spend money, I'd recommend those characters. The stats for the family members is Savagery, which is just how much damage you deal per hit. Simple. Blood Harvesting is a bit more complicated. I'll get more in detail on this, but it's essentially family members have a blood vial, which is you gain blood through hitting victims, killing victims, or collecting them through blood buckets that are around the map. I'll get more into this when we're in the lobby, or in the match, sorry. And endurance, exact same as the victims, except it increases the speed you can attack. Not massively, it's just a slight difference. The other thing about families, they have their own fourth unique perk, which is a Grandpa perk. This is a little buff that you can use. You'll see they have a level underneath the name, level 1, level 2. This is just kind of to show you what level Grandpa needs to reach to unlock this perk. You'll get these in the skill tree, just like this, just right here. Simple enough, there's no crazy way of getting them. Exact same as the main perks, you can only get them in certain routes and things, and yeah. Okay, so similar to the family, sorry, the victims, you will be put into a cutscene, and it will just kind of show the rules and kind of what you're going to do and things, and kind of objectives. However, the difference here is that the family will be put into this cutscene here. This will just show a random victim being killed. It's not in the game, it's a little cutscene. And essentially, while this is playing, the victims are breaking out of their ropes and getting a bit of a head start just to kind of allow them to breathe and get a bit of a go before the family can just kind of pounce on them. It just gives them a bit of a head start and lets them get going. And I'll spawn like this. And yeah, every family member has their own unique way of spawning. They'll spawn in different locations. It does not change. Like Hitchhiker on this map will always spawn there. That will never change. And vice versa. Unlike the victims, you know, the victims will spawn randomly. There's no designated spot for every victim. So, probably wondering, what do I do? What's my objective here? Obviously it's to kill the victims, but there's more to it than that. It's not as simple as just run around and slice them. So Hitchhiker is a chaser. There is a variety of, well, not a variety, but there's about 3 different types of characters in this game. There is chasers, there's more kind of brutey characters, and there's more kind of support roles. Hitchhiker is a chaser slash kind of defender. He's got traps, but he can also chase quite well. He's very fast, and he also can go through crawl spaces like this. Not every family member can do that. It's not something that, you know, only Hitchhiker, Bones, and Sissy can go through crawl spaces. There's perks that make the crawl spaces faster and yada yada yada. But we're getting off topic. So, traps. As you see, I click my ability, I'll get like a little highlight here of where I can put it. I will just hold the button and I'll place it like that. Once it's placed, I'll put it in a better spot than that, because that was ass. Right here, this is the door that a victim can get out from, so I will just pop my trap right here. There's an ability skill tree, which I will get into at the end, just to kind of explain that, but you can get ways of making that faster or whatever. So traps down, victim might come along here and, you know, they'll see it, and they'll either disarm it with a knife. If they have a bone shard, they can disarm it, or they'll step into it, they'll scream. There's perks that can allow it to highlight them, yada yada yada, or do damage and things. Hitchhiker can then come along and obviously attack them or smack them. They're just vulnerable. Traps like this are usually just kind of a way of adding an extra layer onto an escape, just making it a bit more tricky for a victim to do it. Because if every door was just this, just a bare bone door, no trap, no locks, nothing, it's really easy to get out. So it's just kind of a way of slowing them down and kind of stopping them from being able to, you know, get out super easily. Now, another thing that you can do as family members, you'll see at the bottom right, this is a universal ability that every family member can do. It's family vision. You'll see it's up on the D-pad. I'll click this, and this is basically my way of, I can see everything in terms of like interactable items. That'd be like the fuse, blood buckets. I can see the basement doors, and I can see Grandpa and stuff. Just so I can, you know, see everything, and I don't get lost and confused, because this can be a bit confusing and not sure where to go. So what I'll explain now is Grandpa. Grandpa is a big kind of role in the family to an extent. He's not always worth feeding, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to show you. So you'll see these blood buckets. You can get blood through hitting victims, killing them, or blood buckets, as I already said. Once you've got blood, depending on your blood harvesting stat, you'll get more blood from these. You'll have more blood to carry in total. My blood harvesting isn't very good on Hitchhiker, so it's not very good, but you'll come with your Grandpa.
All you need is blood.
And you'll feed him, just like this. And then I have 38, so that will contribute 38 blood into his little picture at the top, on the right there. Yep. Every level, you'll see the little segments. There's 5 segments. That's 100 blood per segment. If Grandpa reaches level 1, every single perk that a family member is equipped with level 1 will unlock. If they've got a level 2 perk, they need level 2, and level 3. Level 3 is the highest that a perk can be. And yeah, level 5 on Grandpa, if you can get level 5, he will reach a kind of hyper mode. I'll explain that more in a second. When you level up Grandpa to level 1, he'll basically waken up and he will scream at random time, not random, but he'll scream at a certain time. Depending on the higher his level, the more frequently he'll scream. While Grandpa's screaming, the victim moves, they will get highlighted, so it kind of forces them to stay still and to kind of pause a bit. It kind of just helps them slow down a bit. If he's level 5, if you max out Grandpa, which is quite hard to do, if you can pull that off, the victims will get highlighted regardless. There's no way they can stop it. They are getting marked regardless. Victims can come along and stab Grandpa with a bone knife, and they will lower his level by 1. So just watch out for that and be careful. Grandpa is very useful, but he can be a bit risky to feed, because this game obviously requires good teamwork and defense on family. Playing family by yourself solo queue can be a bit challenging because you need communication and being able to, I'll defend this area, you defend that area, you defend that area kind of thing. So if you lack that, it can be a bit tricky to kind of manage everything. But at the end of the day, you're more than likely just wanting to run around, have fun, just kill people. So you should be fine. A couple of victims might escape, but it's not a big deal. And yeah, so just when you go to feed Grandpa, it can be risky because you are kind of lowering your defense, because I'm feeding, right? But then my area that I was meant to defend is now vulnerable, so they could sneak out, kind of thing. So just be tactical, but don't be stupid. Don't just run in there and just, oh, I've got a full blood vial, let's go feed him now. It's, just take your time. Don't worry about all that. And I believe that is mainly the premise for family. So Grandpa's awakened. That will just happen naturally after a while. It takes a very long time, as you see. But the victims will waken up Grandpa for making noise. You saw it last game and he's screaming right now. So if a victim was moving right now, they'd get highlighted. Once Grandpa's awake, that means the doors are now unlocked for family, so the family members can just come in immediately and just sprint in and attack. So victims are advised to maybe be a bit more quiet at the start, just to, make sure they don't have the family rushing in. Just be careful, because when you click the pause button, you can see who you're playing against. So if the family members are a bit more kind of like not trap characters and more chasing, killing characters, maybe don't wake up Grandpa and just kind of play more stealthy for victim. And yeah, I believe that is it for family. Just defend the exits, keep an eye on things, know what to expect. I mean, kind of put the knowledge of victim and family that I've taught today together to kind of help explain, or just kind of understand what to expect, and kind of just, be careful and things. You know they're going to go for the valve, the fuse, the battery, the generators. So just be careful and be aware. That's the objectives, and to just know what to look out for. And yeah, we'll move on to the final thing to talk about. Okay, so almost finished. The last thing I'm going to kind of go over is perks, and not in crazy detail, but just kind of explain how leveling up perks and kind of how it works. So there's 2 types of perks. Well, there's 3 types. There's the Grandpa perks, but we're going to ignore those. You don't have to level those up. You have your main perks that you put onto your character through the skill tree. We've already went over that. But you'll see every perk has a level 1, level 2, and there's obviously level 3 perks as well. Basically, each level is up through playing the game. You'll see when you play the game, when you pull up the leaderboard, you'll see like your score. Every single point you make will go into these perks, just these perks. This is different. I'll explain that one more. This one gets half, I believe, of the points you get. So if you get, say, 2,000 points, the main ability perk would only gain 1,000 XP, whereas this perk would gain the whole 2,000. You'll just see every perk has 3 levels. They just get progressively better the higher level it gets. Just play the game. You gain points through unlocking doors, fighting the family, stabbing Grandpa, escaping, just every stuff like that. And obviously, family, hitting victims, killing victims, feeding Grandpa. Just literally just things to do in the game. You gain points for it. It's not really it's not confusing. And And yeah, just perks will get better. Some perks in this game are really bad, level 1, but then level 3 they're quite nice. Also, some perks are harder to level up than others. Like this perk here, this perk you acquire more. You'll see to level this one up to level 2 you need 6,000, whereas this one it's only 4.8. Also, a lot of perks in this game, unfortunately, are quite useless, I'll be honest. Like, some of these perks are really bad. I'll try and find an example of that. There's like some that are just like actually just like ridiculous. Like, why is this even in the game? Like this one, like when a family member operates a generator, both the family member and generator are highlighted for 30 seconds. It's just kind of like, what's really the point in... I don't know, it's not really worth using. There's a lot of meta perks. I'm not going to go into the meta and things. As I said, I'm going to link WZF Mamba. He goes for the builds and kind of what are good and things. You should get to play every character and stuff. I'd really recommend his videos. There's quite a few people on YouTube that help with characters and kind of playing the game. I'd recommend watching videos and stuff to help you understand. But yeah, so your ability. This is your ability. I'll respec here just to kind of show you what to look for. Let me I'm actually maxed it out. Your skill tree of your ability, exact same as your main perk tree, except it's a bit different. You'll see level 1, level 2, and level 3. It's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like it looks a bit confusing, but it's not really. You want to essentially pick a perk. So I like this one for my first, and then this one here. You see this one gets closed off because you'll see there's no line to this one. So now I have the choice of restore stamina or increase on time again. Don't do 2 of the same one because it won't stack. That is one misconception I see a lot, is that you assume, oh, 6 and 7, it must do 13, but it's not. It's just 7, so this becomes absolutely useless. So if you're going to get this one, then this one, you know? But yeah, so if I then pick this one, it will then give me access to the final 3 top ones. So I pick this, and then I like the short cooldown. I like people to use my bard more frequently, so I will just pick that one. Just go through, read whatever character you've chosen's perks, and just figure out what you like. Some of them are really, really good, and then some of them are just kind of like cooldown changes. Some characters are like really bad, level 1, but when you get the level 3 ability, it's like crazy. So just keep that in mind. If a character doesn't seem too great, look at their level 3 and maybe their abilities are like really crazy at level 3. And yeah, I believe that is everything. I'm going to obviously put all this together and I'm going to look over. So there might be a cut to about the end that I might have forgotten after watching all of this, but for the most part, that is it. I hope this was helpful. I don't know if this was a bit confusing at times. It was hard to kind of go over everything. But this game, it lacks a good tutorial. The tutorial is fine, but yeah, it's not amazing. So yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope this encourages you to stick with the game and try things, because this game's got a lot of potential, but it just lacks that kind of. I think it lacks the player base and stuff it deserves and things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful and things. Feel free to comment any questions or anything. I mean, you see my username on PlayStation. Feel free to add me and just message me or anything if that's something you'd like to do. I'll do my absolute best to respond. As you'll see, I've not got many subscribers or videos, so I doubt, I'll be distracted or anything. I'm sure I'll be able to respond to your comment, so feel free to ask anything you want to ask. Or if you want to just play, I'm 100% happy to play with people. If anyone wants to play that's new to the game, maybe wants me to help them and guide them, 100% I'm more than happy to do that. Just drop me a message on the YouTube comments, or just add my PSN and just message me on that, and I can play with you. Obviously, I might not be on, I might be busy at the time, but if I'm free, I'll play, and if I'm not free at that moment, I'll message you and I'll think of when I can be free and I'll play with you. I'll do my absolute best. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed to an extent. I mean, this wasn't really the sort of video that's meant to be really entertaining. It's more kind of an explanation kind of video. It's more to teach you how to play the game. But yeah, well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.